What's going on, YouTube family? Welcome to Automotive Life. My name is Lucky, and today we're going to be talking about why Tesla and other EV manufacturers are in trouble. Now, it's no secret, me and a lot of other YouTubers have been talking about how the EV market has basically fallen off a cliff. There's been a number of reasons why. Now, about a month ago, I made a video talking about how EV sales spiked during the month of March, but unfortunately, it was just a temporary high because of tax season and a lot of people buying used EVs. They weren't new EVs. So now I want to give you an update of what's currently going on in the month of April. Sales are going down, and on top of that, a lot of the manufacturers are starting to have various problems. Now, there are more people searching for used EVs than brand new EVs. Now, one of the reasons for this is because a lot of these newer high-end EVs come with a 50% depreciation curve after the first year, which is scary. So why are you gonna buy a brand new Tesla Plaid, maybe a brand new Porsche Taycan, Audi e-tron, or a Rivian when you could wait maybe 6 months to 12 months and buy one for maybe 40 to 60% off its original MSRP? And this is what we're starting to see in the market really change the perception of EVs. Now, unfortunately, everybody's been scared about buying something new, but we're starting to see people buy a lot of used ones because of the used tax credit. I think you can get up to $4,000, and the fact that people don't want to lose 50% of their vehicle value in the first year. And on top of that, there were a lot of people sitting on the sidelines waiting for EV prices to go down so they can jump in. But unfortunately, that does not help manufacturers when it comes to pushing out new EVs. Now, I'm sure you've seen the news lately. Rivian's having problems with money. Canoo is pretty much on the brink of bankruptcy, of what I was told, apparently. And Fisker, unfortunately, is having major issues, and it looks like they're just right around the corner from filing BK. So there are tons of other small manufacturers all over America, China, Europe, South America, of these small EV startups that are just not moving cars, took a bunch of people's investment dollars, and basically went BK. Now, this shouldn't be a secret. There's a lot of manufacturers that decided to walk away from this, and we're talking big companies, because everybody thought EVs were going to be the future, everybody was going to change. But as you can see, Apple was one of the first major companies to walk away because they saw the profit margins were next to nothing with the billions of dollars of investment they'd have to make. On top of that, Dyson. There's companies all across the world that were just walking away from their EV programs. Now, most of us automotive insiders knew that there was going to be somewhat of an EV fallout. I just didn't think it would be this much, this quick, and it's only picking up momentum. But I got a message this morning that really sent off alarm bells in my head. Now, everybody knows Tesla is the mainstay when it comes to EVs. Every time I talk about Tesla, all the Tesla fanboys get wild up in the comment section and be like, oh, Tesla's the greatest, they're selling, I don't know what you're talking about, they're always selling. Tesla's model is completely different from everybody else. All these other manufacturers make a bunch of EVs and throw them out there and then basically wait for them to sell. Where Tesla, it's basically built to order. So technically they should be okay and push their way through this. But I got an email yesterday from a Tesla employee telling me that they're going to be laying off anywhere from 10 to 15%. Now, I couldn't confirm that this person really worked for Tesla, so I didn't want to say anything. But this morning, I saw all over the news that Tesla was going to lay off 10% of their workforce. Now, supposedly out of 50,000 employees, that could be anywhere from 10,000 to 15,000 people losing their jobs in the next few months. Now, why is this so significant? Well, the fact that, like I said, Tesla builds when you order the car. It does not build a big bulk and send them out to dealers and hopefully they sell. We talked about how Chevy, Ford, and other manufacturers are slowing down their build lines when it comes to EVs because the Ford Lightnings are not selling, a lot of the other cars are not selling, so they decided to go ahead and slow down the production of these cars, which means layoffs or shorter job times. But if Tesla is built to order, why are they laying off so many people? And this is the reality. There are more people, and you can Google this and look at Google Trends, looking for used Teslas than new Teslas. Once again, why are you going to spend all this money buying a $40,000 or $50,000 car when you could buy one maybe 1 to 2 years old for maybe $20,000 to $30,000? So people are taking those savings and buying those type of cars. On top of that, a lot of people are scared because they've seen videos like mine and other people's talking about the rapid depreciation of cars. Now, supposedly Tesla was above all this and didn't have to worry. Everybody thought that Tesla was the greatest thing since sliced bread. Now, don't get me wrong, Tesla was the first company to make EVs cool, and they were the first ones to mass produce these cars and push them out to the general public here in the United States. So I got to give them kudos for that. But unfortunately, the hype and the train is slowly falling off. A lot of my friends that drive EVs are starting to go back to regular gas-powered vehicles. not for any particular reason. Some just want more travel range. Other people just like the newer models that are coming out. And a few just feel like the Tesla model is dated. There hasn't been any significant body changes with the vehicle. Now, all this is spelling a lot of problems for Tesla and other EV manufacturers. So with all that being said, I want to see if Tesla is going to jump on the bandwagon with the other manufacturers and try to push the government back to being fully EV by 2035. I personally don't think it's ever going to happen. I don't think there's going to be enough people wanting to adopt the EV system. I don't think there's enough infrastructure to actually take care of these cars. Because even I think 2 or 3% of all new cars sold are EVs. Just imagine if we bumped up to 10%. We'd be 4 times the capacity of what our current charging stations allow. It doesn't make sense. And they keep saying, oh, well, people have plugins in their garages. You know how many EVs I've seen in like apartment complexes? Literally drive to any apartment complex and you'll see people literally hanging cords out the window, the 110, to try to charge their car, or they're taking them into charging stations. So unfortunately, a lot of people that were buying these used EVs are under their demographic for having a nice big house with a big garage where they can park their cars in. And so for people living in the city, I remember seeing these in New York, which was absolutely hilarious. People couldn't find any charging stations because they're all broken, vandalized. They would rip the cables out and steal the copper. So I don't think it's going to work, especially when it comes to the infrastructure. So how is the government going to push back when the manufacturers say, hey, you know what, we simply can't do this by 2035? Now, the fact that Tesla is slowing down when it comes to sales and they're laying people off should be a major indicator of red flags continuing when it comes to the EV market. Now, if you ask my opinion, should you buy a brand new EV? Hell no. Should you buy maybe a used one? I would think about it if you got the right deal. But right now, what we're still seeing the trend going down. Every month, Hertz is releasing more and more Model 3s out into the market, as well as some of the other EV6s, which have absolutely fallen off a cliff as well. And so all these EVs are starting to get pumped out into the market. So it's going to be very interesting to see what's going to happen in the next few months, especially when it comes to the lending side, because banks like to track cars when it comes to resale value because that's what lets them determine what the actual resale value is when they go to repo a car. Now, if you bought a car last year for $120,000, but this year it's worth only $60,000, what they're going to do is if you buy a brand new one of these, they're going to make you put a massive down payment on there because they want to outrun the risk. If for some reason they have to repo it, they're not going to be left holding the bag for a car that's worth $60,000 when they have maybe a loan for $90,000. So if this is now happening with the banks, just imagine if you try to buy a used one for $40,000, they're still going to be scared. They may ask you to put $10,000, $8,000, whatever, a bigger chunk of money down compared to what people were traditionally paying. Now, a few of the subprime banks that I talked to flat out told me that they're going to be getting away from any EVs from subprime buyers. If they have over a 620 credit score, they will lend to them at a higher 15 to 20% interest rate. But when it comes to people with deep subprime, maybe multiple repos, late credit card payments, or whatever the case is, they are simply not going to lend on EVs. They will go with the tried-true figure of lending on actual ICE vehicles, which is very interesting to me. So I'm going to make a complete other video on how banks are treating the EV market. But now you can kind of see how all this is kind of coming together because, you know, I know people think I'm a big EV hater, which I'm not a big fan of them. I don't think I'll ever buy one. But I see the problems coming ahead, and I knew they were pushing this change way too fast, and unfortunately, these are the ripple effects. And they did it at a time where there was an all-time high in demand, so it gave these people false narrative that EVs were in demand and everybody wanted them. I think the only reason a lot of these EVs sold is because they couldn't get any of the other cars that they really wanted. And a lot of the EV manufacturers were offering really great rebates, or they're offering 0% financing, whatever the case may be. And so a lot of people picked up these cars during the pandemic because they couldn't get their regular gas-powered vehicle. So now that we fast forward to today, the demand is slowing. People want used EVs because they don't want to lose 50% of their value. And even all these manufacturers are deciding to make less and less models the following year. So if this doesn't tell you with eyes wide open that the EV market is basically falling apart and that America needs to rethink its strategy when it comes to pushing out these EV vehicles, it's something that they have to realize and say, you know what, maybe we're pushing too far for 2035. Let's just pump the brakes a little bit and offer some more incentives to people that actually do want to buy them. Because if you want to offer 0% on some of these new EVs, I think you could probably find buyers on them. But right now, with interest rates as high as they are for a new car, paying 10, 15% for a car that's probably going to, like I said, lose 30 or 40% of its value in the first year, is definitely not a good look. But anyways, I would love to know your opinions on the current EV market. What do you think about Tesla laying off 10% of its workforce? Do you think it's too premature? Do you think this is just a sign of things to come? Also, what do you think about major manufacturers like Ford, Toyota, was it Hyundai, Kia, pretty much all these guys pumping the brakes and actually pushing out more hybrids and basically taking a pause when it comes to EV vehicles and manufacturing? Anyways, I'd love to thank you guys so much for watching. Like I said, once again, please put your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. I try to answer every single one for the first hour or two. On top of that, please follow me at Lucky Lopez. And if you've liked and enjoyed the content, please like and subscribe. I post 3 times a week. Also, if you want to check out our site, automotivelife.com, we're going to be doing weekly Q&A sessions where you guys could sign up, ask me questions. We could talk about the automotive industry. If you actually want to get started either with opening a dealership, rental car business, opening up an auto repair shop, we're going to be talking all those things. And if you want to apply for some online classes, we have that as well to help get you in your direction if you want to become an automotive professional. But anyways, I'd like to thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next video.